Hello, everyone. I'm Mark.
I'm Rob.
And welcome to Mark and Rob's Sports Showdown. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit that notification bell when you do. And feel free to make comments, like and subscribe, and all that good stuff. And hey, if you have any ideas for videos, let us know. When it slows down, fewer basketball and before football, we're going to have to do it some on topics that are generic topics. So anyways, let us know if you have any ideas for that. Of course, last night was game one of the Eastern Conference Finals. Boston won in a thriller in overtime, 133 to 128. Indiana kind of gave the game away a little bit at the very least. There was a little bit of controversy last night because the Celtics had 30 free throws and Indiana only had 10, which, of course, we all know that the Celtics drive to the basket more than Indiana. But that's still a big disparity, don't you think, Bob?
Yeah, well,
well, Rob, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big disparity, but Indiana is the most in the league. It led the league in fouls, so I mean, they can't complain about that. But they were shooting mostly threes and also turning the ball over, dribbling the ball off their foot in the crucial crunch time. That's why they lost the game.
Right. I'm just saying that's they had 21 turnovers and Boston had 14. Drew Holiday had his best game of the playoffs, and he was actually, I thought he was fantastic. He had 28 points. He was 10 for 16, 4 for 8 for threes. But he also had 8 assists, 7 rebounds, and 3 steals. So he really had a good game and 5 offensive rebounds. So for a guard, that's fantastic.
Yeah, was his best game of the playoffs. The other games, he had like maybe 9 points, 8 points, but this was his overall he had a great game, shooting wise and defense too.
He played all 48 minutes. I did not realize that when I was watching the game.
I see, yeah.
Tatum played 46 and Brown played 44. Tatum had a good game. He had 36 points. He didn't shoot quite as well as Drew Holiday, but he was 12 for 26. He was only 2 for 8 from threes though, and he had 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. But he didn't come up big in the fourth quarter and overtime as much as you would want him to, which is he's very inconsistent with being the number one player on a team. He needs to do that more often.
Well, he drew the fouls. I mean, near the end, he would take to the basket and drew the shooting fouls. So I can see why. That's why the Pacer fans were kind of upset. So,
and they did announce the all defensive teams, and Derek White and Drew Holiday both made second team. Also, Jaylen Brown had a good game, 26 points, 10 for 20, 1 for 4. And he also had 7 rebounds and 5 assists and 3 steals and a block. That's pretty good. That's a nice all-around game.
Yeah, that key 3-pointer to tie the game up to make it go into overtime, where Siakam wasn't, had his hand down. I guess he was afraid of fouling him, but he should at least put his hand up. I mean,
he said in the quote that article I read was his original intent was to foul, but then he said he squared up and he didn't want to. He was afraid of getting fouled. I said, I don't know. What does that have to do with anything? Just he was too close to him body-wise. If he's afraid of getting a foul, he should have been farther away from body-wise, and he should have had his arm up. I don't understand his defense. Such an experienced, good player. I don't understand the defense on that 3-point shot. That was very confusing to me.
And then also it goes again to where do you foul when you're up by 3? Do you foul and put the team on the free throw line rather than let them shoot the 3-pointer?
I don't know. Siakam's tall. If he got them semi-close and put his arm up, that was going to be the 3-point shot possibility was going to go.
No, but I mean, like the Pacers should have fouled somebody, and they would put somebody on the line instead of shooting 2, so letting them shoot the 3-pointer. So is that controversy? What you should do?
I would foul, but yeah, I don't know. They argue about that. I'll let them figure that out. But anyway, so. Boston got off to a 12-0 start. Then Indiana came back. Indiana does not seem intimidated by Boston. They believe they can win, which is great because that's going to make a good series. It could go 7 for all I know. And I like that fact. And they're playing better defense than the first game of the playoffs. They picked up their defense since then. And their offense is tough to deal with because they just keep moving and they just keep plugging away. And that's tough to deal with for any defensive team. And Boston was number 2 in the league in defense.
Yeah, I think Indiana surprised them. I mean, Boston took that lead, but then Indiana's they're a scoring team. They're one of the top scoring teams in the league. So, you never can count them out. They have those runs They can score like 17 points, boom, and they're in the lead or right back in the game. So yeah, they have a nice little firepower to stay with Boston. So yeah, you're right. I might push that back from that. Everybody was talking a sweep, but I'm like, I don't know about that.
Sweep? No, I never thought it would be a sweep myself. Siakam had a really good game. He had 12 for 23 and 12 rebounds and 7 assists and a steal. And so did Turner. Turner was 9 for 13 with 3 for 4 for threes, and he had 23 points and 10 rebounds and 4 assists. They ruined a great game by them, the two of them. They blew a great game by them. They did. And Halliburton had 25 points, but he had and 10 assists and 3 steals, and he was 6 for 14 for threes. But he made 2 dribbling errors, both one in overtime and near the end, and one near the end of the fourth quarter.
Right, and also Siakam too. He's trying to be a little dribbler, and Brown just took the ball away from him. So it's like.
And at the end of near the end of the fourth quarter, they had a lead. I forget how many points it was, like 3 or whatever. But they had the ball, and it was a little over a minute. And Alberton took a shot with 15 seconds left on the shot clock. And then the same thing, they came down, and then I forgot who took the next shot. But it was, again, 15 seconds left on the clock. Mm-hmm. They're complaining about losing, but they just didn't have time management the last minute and 10 seconds.
Right. I mean, it was time management. And like I said, the turnovers. I mean, that's what really hurt them. Otherwise, they should, or like I said, and then maybe they should have fouled instead of letting them shoot the 3, and that they would have won the game. So a lot of factors went into it.
I don't understand because, they know that they've got to use more time on the clock when they're ahead, And I know their offense goes around just kind of like quickly and stuff like that, but you can slow it down a little bit and still get movement and, not just be one-on-one. And I didn't understand that. So, but I think that cost them because there was only there wasn't that many seconds left when the inbound pass was. So, and they couldn't get the inbound pass. And
yeah.
That's just good defense by the Celtics. Maybe they didn't drop a good enough play. Maybe they didn't, whatever. They didn't get open. So
I'm wondering with these coaches. I mean, when I coached, I always practiced. I had out of bounds plays on the sidelines, on the baseline. And so I'm watching it, especially like I said, my Knicks. They always would like get a 5-second or like couldn't get the ball in. I'm going, you don't have any out of bounds plays. I mean, that's part of the game. You have to work on those.
So you don't know Rob has part ownership in the Knicks. That's why he says my Knicks.
That's why I say my Knicks, yes.
In case you didn't, I always make fun of people that say that. So I make fun of everybody that says that. And then since 90% of the sports fans do that, they make fun of they get mad at me for making fun of them.
Not me.
I just never grew up saying it. I never started saying it. But anyways, they had 44 rebounds, Indiana, and Boston had 43. So that wasn't the issue. But it was the foul shots. But it really was Indiana didn't the last minute and 10 seconds, they didn't handle it well. And then overtime was close again, and Boston came through with the plays.
Right.
But Boston still plays too much one-on-one basketball for my taste. And I know that drives my brother crazy. So he lives in Boston. And so, but, they play better defense than Indiana. That's probably why they're going to win the series.
Yeah, I think Brown, that's why sometimes he's good some games and not others, because he'll come down and just bring the ball down, and as everybody stands around, it's like, when you play, it's like pick a ball game. You got that one guy that brings the ball down and waiting there for him to shoot the ball, and he shoots the ball. You're like, wait a minute, what are you doing? Pass the ball.
All right. So, anyways, that's game 1. Of course, game 2 is going to be tomorrow, which is going to be Thursday, and tonight, which is Wednesday, is going to be Dallas at Minnesota. So that game, I'm picking Minnesota in 7 because I think Dallas is playing well, and they finished the season strong. So it looks like they're a better team than what the people originally thought. But Minnesota's defense, I think, will pull them out. I'm picking
Minnesota in 6. I think they showed themselves. They showed themselves in the Denver series. I mean, if you can win 3 games up in Denver, who has been one of the best home records, I think they got a lot of confidence going, and they play defense well. So it's Dallas is going to give them a tough time, So, but I think they're going to pull it through.
Yeah, I'm confident their defense could, because Dallas doesn't have the depth of some other teams. But So we'll see. We'll see how they do, if they can shut down Doncic or not, or if he's going to get his points and they just shut everybody else down. We'll see. Yeah, I really maybe. And I'm not sure what how many games it's going to go, but I'm taking 7 for right now. Minnesota's defense is so good. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'll take 6.
Okay, well, I think the key maybe for Dallas is how well Irving plays, because Doncic always seems to get his points and assists and rebounds. So how well does Irving play? It might be the key, but
and Dallas's defense picked up a little. They were suspect on defense, but they picked it up. So
they did, especially in the playoffs.
That's gonna be a factor also.
So the Caitlin Clark watch continues. Game 5, the most analyzed athlete since LeBron James, at least in team sports. And they have Game 5 tonight, and they have actually a good shot of a win tonight, because they're playing a team that's they're playing Seattle Storm, who was 1-3, and they were below 500 last year. I don't know their exact record. So that's tonight, and I'll tell you, Caitlin Clark is gone up against more factors in a negative way than any athlete I can remember in my lifetime, and I came up with a list of them. And the first thing is she has more pressure than any athlete since LeBron James in a team sport. So that's weighing on her. She had almost no time between college and pro. It really was immediate to work on her game or to rest. In addition to that, she has a lot of league that's jealous of her, and so they're giving her like more, at least 100% effort. I know there's no such thing as more than 100%, but they're giving her 100% effort against her. And Nancy Lieberman, who, if you don't know, she was a guard in the 70s, one of the great players in women's basketball. And she was a guard and very good player and Hall of Fame and all that. She said, I've never seen so much attention and so much double teaming on one player that came into the league ever. Yeah. So for those who are Clark haters think, oh, she just can't handle it. No, it's because the whole league's designed to stop her. And if she really is only average and is a one-trick pony, why is the whole league trying to design their whole defense to stop her? Even when they put their best guard on her, which is normal. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with what they're doing. It's just that let's not pretend that's not making it more difficult. Because even when the best guard isn't on her, suddenly when she's out on the perimeter, guess who's on her? MVP like Brianna Stewart or Thomas last game. Both they only played 4 games. So another detriment is she's played the number 2 team twice and the number 3 team twice in the league.
So, the teams are gearing up for her against her. There's that jealousy factor, and then there's the factor where I'm not going to let her drop 20 points or 30 points on me, because if that's the case, then you know that she's good. If she wasn't that great, you would say, okay, I'll leave that one player on her, like you said, but they're not doing that. They're putting their best player on her.
She has a new coach who seems somewhat clueless at times. She has, and I'm not saying to fire her, but she suggests long twos, and she doesn't seem to know what to do with Kate and Let. And then she has new teammates, and she has a new league, which is normal. All this is normal for a rookie, but it's all factors that go into it. And she also kind of got thrown off the first 2 games where their starting shooting guard had an ankle injury, just came off the bench and didn't do much. And now now she had to change the next 2 games and play differently, because suddenly she had that guard starting instead of their point guard from last year. So she needs to adjust to all that. But
what's sad, Mark, is that that's not the emphasis. They're not emphasizing what her play is or anything like that. They're emphasizing that she's getting more notoriety and she just got a deal with Wilson basketball. That's all. It seems like the main focus is like her attention that she's getting in promotion, not about her play or what they're emphasizing that fact, which really annoys me.
Well, I know they say, some people have said, well, I don't think anybody doesn't want to succeed. Bullcrap. I think, especially the black players who say she's getting too much attention because she's white, like A.G. Wilson, they don't want her to succeed, even though it's good for the league and good for them because they'll make more money. They won't have to go to Russia during the winter. They don't want her to succeed because they don't think she deserves the publicity, which is true. Nobody deserves the amount of publicity she gets. No. But they don't want her to succeed. They want her to be a bust or average or something. And that's never going to happen. She's never going to be average. She might not be the MVP of the league or the GOAT of WNBA or women's basketball, but she's not. There's zero chance unless she gets 2 major injuries that she's going to be a bust. So it's never going to happen. But this may backfire on them because I think it will backfire on them because this is going to make her a better player.
Right.
She's going to make her tougher mentally, tougher physically, and it's going to make her work on any weaknesses that she has. Even if she can't do it during the season, she's going to do it in the off season and come back next year, all ready to go. So
working that mid-range game, maybe a little drive, and then she's gonna. I mean, with that mentality, all she can do is improve, which for them is kind of scary. I'd be kind of scared, like, oh, geez, she's gonna improve again, which she will. She's gonna get even better.
Right.
So,
and she's a good dribbler, but she could be a better dribbler. She found out that some of her dribbling's a little sloppy at times, and it's going to get stolen by these much better NBA players, usually like a former MVP, which has happened to her a couple of times. So she'll become a better dribbler, but she was already a good dribbler. But she needs to tighten that up, and she's got to learn different moves when she drives to the basket, and we've talked about that before. And mid-range games. She has the mid-range games. I know she practices it because she says that. She says she does 300 throws, 100 free throws, 100 mid-range, not long twos like her coach suggests. That's silly. And 100 threes, and she tries to get 230 out of 300 right. So she practices the mid-range. She just doesn't take them, which she should.
Right. She needs to do that little pull-up, like I saw that one game when she drove and then she stopped and then she, pivoted around. I'm like, why don't you just stop, pull up, and shoot a little shot over the player? I mean, that's an easy shot right there.
But they figured some things out last game, and I think that they're going to, finally have a team that's not number 2 or 3 in the league, and they'll be able to play better. I think Boston needs to lose weight because in order to take full advantage of Clark's vision and passing ability, she needs to be quicker. They got Melissa Smith, and that can run down the court quicker. But Boston is a main person. She's number 1 pick from the year before, and I think she needs to be quicker. And she's never going to be fast, but she needs to lose weight. This is my opinion. I'm not saying she's fat. I'm just saying it'd be more to the team advantage if she could get down like Hannah Stokey used to get down there, and that's what made the offense. They were the number 1 offense in college last year.
That comes with footwork too. She needs to. I used to tell the kids who were growing like 3 or 4 inches during the summer, I said, get a jump rope and get a little more movement, a little foot movement in there in the post, and make those shots. She can make those layups that she's missing.
And there's a player that wasn't on their team last year. Her name is, I'm not sure if I pronounce her name. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I heard the announcers do Temi Fagbeneen. She comes off the bench, but she should be starting instead of Samuelson. And she's fast, and she's kind of spinally built, and she's thin, and she's fast. I think she should be starting. They put her in their starting lineup, and suddenly they got somebody that can run down the court and get the pass, take advantage of any fast breaks. And another thing they're not doing is the players aren't looking for Clark right after they get the rebound, and they got to look for her right away so they can take advantage of her vision and passing ability.
Yeah, when they did that, you saw that one play with Mitchell when she did that, and she spotted up and hit that 3. That
was a 3. I'm saying like right after they rebound it or right after the inbound, they got to look for Clark right away, like almost 100% of the time, and just let her run the show because that's when she's most effective. Nobody on the team can even. I mean, she's the best passer in women's history, college or pro. You need to take advantage of that. And, by the way, I saw this video, and guess who was on it? Cheryl Swoops was on Gilbert Arenas' silly podcast. And Gilbert Arenas did say something smart. He said, you just got to let her ball. That's what he's basically saying. Just let her go off the team. Yeah. Let her get more shots. Let her and then Swoop says, Caitlin is a very good passer, like very good, like the biggest understatement of the year. That she can't give her credit. She can't even say the word great or excellent or whatever, like all the other NBA players and ex-NBA players say about her passing. It's just so
she gave her she all right. She's all right.
She's all right.
She all right.
Some of the things I've heard about what she's gonna be all right. Okay, all right, we'll see who has mud on their faces. Anyway, so that game is tonight. I guess it's at 10:00, and looking forward to I guess it's an 8:30 game in the NBA, and we'll have that game for you tomorrow with the another update video. Anyways,
All right.
thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe and make some comments, intelligent ones that aren't insulting. And we'll see you in the next video. Take care.
All right. Peace out.